Welcome, guys, to Children of Dionysus. Today's guest is Paulina Cossio. What's going on, Paulina?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for coming. Otherwise known as Pau, right? Pau is like one of your nicknames.
Yeah, usually, I I go by obviously my name Paulina, but a lot of people just call me Pau.
Mm.
It's like, I feel like it's like a nickname, like an endearing thing. I've been called that ever since I was little. So yeah. I mean, it's weird because I feel like people who don't know me that follow me on Instagram, they'll be like, "Hey, Pau," and I'm like, "Oh." Like, like we don't know each other. I'm okay with that, but yeah, Paulina.
What happened when you were getting Pau Pau? Did you ever get Pau Pau?
I didn't know. See, here's the thing. In Mexico, I was born and raised in Mexico. In Mexico, Pau actually is a drink. It's called Pau.
What kind of
So
drink is it?
it's like a it's different flavors. Like you've got the orange Pau, strawberry.
Is it like a
Um,
soda?
It's like a juice. It's probably a lot of sugar.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
food coloring and
but yeah,
chemicals.
exactly.
It's
A
fine. We
bunch of
don't
stuff
worry
that's
about that. We
terrible
don't
for
read the
you.
back. Just drink it. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
But growing up, that was a pow pow. So in Mexico, pow pow is not really like a,
Like getting
like,
hit.
yeah, it was a juice.
That's so interesting. Like, this is something that people don't understand. First of all, I'm Dominican. You're obviously Mexican and Cuban, right?
Hmm.
Every country has its own. Everyone speaks Spanish, and then everyone speaks Mexican. Everyone speaks
Yeah,
Cuban. Everyone speaks
Dominican.
Dominican.
Yeah,
Everyone speaks their own. Everyone has their own slang, and sometimes the slang means one thing in one country, and it means something completely different in another. And I always
yeah,
thought that was a unique. My favorite Mexican slang is it's bad, but we're speaking English. It's no mames,
yeah. But
no
it's like, how do
mames.
you, no mames, how do you translate that? I was just trying to do that the other day for someone. How do you translate that to English?
Uh, it'd be like get the
Don't
hell out of
suck?
here.
No,
Well,
but
I
like
mean, the
literal.
literal translation. Oh, yeah, that's what it means. It's my mind. Yeah. I mean, we want to keep it PG, but yeah, basically, it's like don't suck.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, that's my favorite one. There's a show you ever seen on Netflix, Club de Cuervos.
Ah, sí.
It's about
Sí.
a Mexican soccer team.
Yeah.
Anyone who hasn't seen that, it is so good.
It's so
It
funny.
is.
Chava is so funny. Yeah, I love that show. I actually haven't finished it, but I love that show. Yeah.
How like legit Mexican is that? Is that like a legit Mex?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all Mexican, done by Mexicans. Like the cast is Mexican, the writing is Mexican. Yeah, okay. It
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
Mexican. I just never been to Mexico, so you never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very the accent, it's very from the north.
Mm.
Uh but it is very like preppy, very like, fresa, very yeah, it's very much like that. A lot of parts of Mexico are very much like that.
So where in Mexico are you from?
Mexico City. I was born and raised in
Oh,
Mexico City.
nice,
Yeah.
nice,
Oh my
nice.
gosh, if you ever get a chance, you need to go. It's so
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
it's on
It's
the
so,
bucket
so
list for
beautiful.
sure. Yeah, I mean the architecture alone. I'm a huge architecture geek. Like I love that stuff, and just the old Spanish architecture. I'm
Oh,
probably I'd be in heaven for sure.
I know. Yeah, it really is so beautiful. I think when I was living there, I mean, I moved to Miami when I was 14, but I feel like I maybe I took for granted all of that stuff when I lived there. Like it's
Mm,
like I guess it's kind of like in Miami when you live in Miami, you don't go to the beach. Well, I never went to the beach,
neither did
you know?
I. I
Yeah,
grew up in
exactly.
Florida. I grew up in Florida. I didn't. I never went.
But it's like, oh, you never went to the beach. And I feel like in Mexico, yeah, I went to museums and stuff, but I never really felt like I actually took it all in.
Yeah.
When I spent 2 months last summer in Mexico City, every Sunday, like my brother, my sister-in-law, my niece, my nephew, and I would just do like something touristy. Like we'd go
Mm.
to the pyramids, or we went to Xochimilco, or we went to see El Castillo de Chapultepec, which is the castle. Um, oh my gosh, it's just so beautiful. I always tell people like you need to see Mexico City in person.
When I mean your English is fantastic. For
Thank you.
moving here at 14, like how
Yeah.
long did it take you to get to learn English properly?
Well, I knew English before.
Hmm.
I was just a little scared to speak it. And I moved to Miami, and everybody in Miami speaks Spanish.
Okay.
So it was kind of easy for me to just kind of like do that transition, you know? But I do sometimes I do like it comes out like my accent still comes out. And in school, obviously, like, everybody was always so like Tom was always like, make sure you have neutral American. And but I knew English. My mom lived in Baltimore when she was 19, so that definitely helped. And when I was in school in Mexico, half of the day, the school that I went to, half the day was in English and half the day was in Spanish. So that definitely helped.
Was it an American school?
It it was a British school. It's
Yeah.
called Queen Elizabeth. Yeah,
Nice.
Queen Elizabeth School.
So is your mother Mexican or your father Mexican?
My dad, my mom is Mexican. My dad was born in Cuba.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So how'd
yeah,
they end up meeting? I mean, that's
in Mexico. Yeah,
oh, he was just hanging out over there and met
yeah,
your mom, and he was like,
yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
nice.
Basically, yeah, basically. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, here we are. But it's like he, you know, didn't really. I mean, you could somewhat hear the accent, but yeah, he was Mexican, and then we moved to Miami, and now he's like Cuban.
That was a very weighted answer. I don't know, what does that mean?
Well, I think because it's just like he's around so many Cubans that the accent just like as soon as we moved, it was just like a switch, you know?
Wow.
And I was like, "Whoa, who is this man?"
So he was born in Cuba, and then when did he end up? Or was he just hanging out in Mexico? Was he living there properly and doing stuff?
He no, he was born in Cuba, and then he basically went. I actually don't know how old he was when he left Cuba, but lived in Mexico for a long time.
Mm.
Met my mom. It's a really cute story. They met while they were traveling. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I should ask him how old he was when he left Cuba. Yeah.
Have you been to Cuba?
I've never been to Cuba. No, I would love to. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I mean that's another place like the architecture is insane. They say when you go to Havana, it's like
You've
it'll blow
been?
you. No, I have never been. My
No.
sister's been there. I've got some family and stuff. Obviously, I grew up in Florida, so I knew a bunch of Cubans who had been there. But I was living in Miami for. I had always wanted to live in Miami. We always used to go
Mhm.
down when I was a kid. And obviously have coffee and hang
Yeah,
out
el
and do the thing.
cafecito.
Yeah, el cafecito en medianoche, ropa vieja,
Oh God,
all
yeah.
those Cuban foods. And I recently I was like, well, I'm gonna go because I kind of left New York and I moved down there, and I think it was 2023.
Oh my
And
gosh, recently.
yeah, just recently. So I just came back. I came back in 2023. I was there. I lived in Miami, and I was living in like an illegal immigrant like a migrant house like in Miami, like literally people off the boat, like they just trekked through the jungle and they wound up at this one house, and we were all living five to a room on bunk beds. Yeah, some of these guys clearly had been to prison.
What were
Clearly,
you doing
I don't
there?
know. I have no idea. It was like an Airbnb, and then like a week turned into two, into three, into four. Before I knew it, I was there for like for a while, for like 6 months in this house. And we used to get drunk together, and like these guys would like, because I was like, oh, I'm Latino, I grew up, whatever. No, it's a very different.
No, you're
No,
not.
I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm diet Dominican, because these guys were from there, and it was guys from everywhere. Venezuela, Colombia. These guys were from Nicaragua. I don't know if there were any Mexicans there, some Cubans and stuff, and so like they were just wilding out, and we would get drunk and cook meat and talk shit and just like hang out
I
like
mean, it
at
sounds
these.
like fun.
It was a blast, but it was an interesting experience, and it was culture shock for me because it was just interesting. They all would tell me their stories about how they would come up through the jungle in Venezuela and Central America, which evidently is like the most dangerous jungle in the world, from what I hear. Like that little strip from coming up from Venezuela, Colombia, and then Costa Rica, like all the way up, is like really dangerous. And then they had to get on ships and containers
Jesus.
through cartel country. It was just like it was wild. And they would talk about people would like sit on the side of, like they would just say I quit and just go on the side of the road to basically just die. It was wild. It was wild. Some of these stories these guys were telling me, but I was there and then I was driving an Uber like for 12 hours a day.
Wow.
It was crazy. I had in 9 months, I had 5,000 people in my car. 5,000. I had something
In
like
Miami.
in Miami, I had something like 3,500 trips, and it was roughly 5,000 people because there was like 1 to 1.5 people average per trip. And people would do like coke in the back of my car.
I mean, it's Miami, I guess.
Miami's an insane place. I don't understand. Like people don't get. Okay, so the first 3 days I was there, I witnessed two head-on collisions with my own eyes. I pulled a man out of a car that was leaking gasoline in the middle of an intersection. I was driving up 95. So the people that don't know, I-95 is the most dangerous road in the country.
Yeah.
Always accidents every single day. It's the
Yeah.
main highway running up and down Florida. I literally saw a car on fire just in the middle of the highway, and everyone's just passing by. People would cut me off. They would, like, if you're like going
Yeah.
into the airport, they'll cut 4 lanes. I saw in Miami, they have these trolleys, which is like the buses, right? And they look like
Mhm.
old school trolleys.
Yeah.
I literally saw a woman jump the curb and knock down light poles in a trolley. It's
And
just, yeah, go ahead.
Miami drivers are the worst though. Like
Yeah.
I lived in New York as well. I see it here too in LA. I don't care. Miami drivers are I just like there's a special place
They're
in
psychopaths.
wherever. For
That's the only thing I can say is like this is psychopathic. I was like, people, how could
that's
you
crazy that you
drive this
saw all
way?
that.
I saw more than that. People going and making, oh, they were driving on the opposite side of the road on a red light because they guess they didn't want to be in traffic. People would take a left turn from the middle of the lane. It
Yeah.
was wild. People get run over all the time, and they just keep driving because they don't have paper, they don't have a license, and they're gonna get arrested. It's just crazy. But
Yeah.
it was an interesting thing. I don't
That's
know if I'll
insane.
ever live there again.
I am so shocked that after like New York, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna live in Miami for a little bit. And then you see all of these things. What?
Right. Well, it was driving an Uber, and you see a city, like you see if you're taking public transport, or if you're driving in your own car, or if you're different modes of transportation, you actually see a different city. Like I got that in New York because you were usually driving the subway or in a bus or something. But when you drive through the city, it's different. When you ride through the city, it's different, right? You're
Yeah.
seeing a different city, and driving in the city, and I got the sample size of what was going on down there. I was like, I don't know if this is for me, man. I
Yeah.
don't know if
Yeah.
this is for me.
Miami, it's interesting. I really like Miami only because my family's there and the
Right,
weather.
right.
Um, I mean, other than that, I'm not a huge fan.
It's
Sorry.
yeah, you have your own taste and stuff like that. I think, but it is what it is. A lot of people are living there now. It's very beautiful. Like for people who
Yeah.
don't get an opportunity, you should go to Miami. The people are very. I mean, I'm a dude, so the women were. It was. I was like, I don't know what's in the Kool-Aid out here. Like the girl pouring my coffee is like an Instagram nine, and I was like, "What's you're like, who are you people? I don't know what's going
Wait,
on."
what does
But
it mean in Instagram 9? What does that mean?
like a really hot girl, like basically beautiful,
Oh,
like
okay.
Instagram, you know what I mean? But like
Like
beautiful,
she's like
it
an influencer?
looked like an influencer, but she was just the girl
Okay.
making the coffee.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Okay, okay,
You
okay,
know what I
okay.
mean?
See,
Like
yeah,
even
okay,
though
got it.
Instagram's not real anyway, it's all filters and
No, but I get it. I get it. I get it. So
um
she looks like a model basically.
looks like a model,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was interesting to be in that place, but it was fun. It was fine. I was going down there to I left New York. Nothing was going on in New York. And I was like, well, maybe I'll start a studio or maybe I'll act down
Hmm.
here, maybe whatever. And I still was stuck in New York. Like my mind was still here. I was producing a play while I was driving people around in my car.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
A
would
play
be
in
on a
New York.
production. I would be on a production call while I had passengers in the back.
Oh my
Like I'd be
God.
yelling at people, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I got to take this.
The guy in
And
the back, like,
he's
it's
like,
all good.
yeah,
It's
he's
all
like
good.
doing coke or whatever. Well, there were two guys. So I was driving these two dudes, and there's something about what it is. A lot of it is when you go to a place like a Vegas or a Miami or a Medellin or a place where like you're just there to have fun. Something happens to people where they like all of their senses just go out the window because they're there to have a good time.
Yeah.
And so coupled with the fact that after 10:30 people turn into gremlins because the sun is down, right?
Yeah.
These two guys, I was driving them. I remember I was on, it wasn't Collins Avenue. I forget what the main one on South Beach was, but I think it might have been Collins, but
Lincoln Road?
it wasn't Lincoln Road. It was one of the bigger ones. I think it was Collins Avenue, but
Okay.
I was driving them. All of a sudden I stop at the red light and I hear, and I'm like, and I look back and I go, are you guys doing coke in the back of my car? And all of a sudden the doors fly open and these guys just run and they start running down the street. I was like, I was livid, livid.
Oh
Because
my
you
God.
imagine if the cop finds that
Oh
in
my
my
God. That's
car,
it. You're
they're
done.
like, oh, you're done. But I found several times where I just found little dime bags of coke and stuff in the back of the car. Yeah,
Jesus.
I would drive escorts to John's house, like John's. I would take a girl. I would take a girl from one John's house. She would get in my car and I would drive her to her next client. And
No.
I would see her. She would hug the guy and whatever. She would get in the car and then go and kiss the next guy on the lips. It was wild. I was,
You need, Les, you have to, absolutely have to write something
yeah, I know.
like
It was,
a film. I think a film would be easier than a play because you're driving and stuff, but like something, the life of an Uber driver in Miami,
it
or like
was,
something. I can't, like, I'm not shocked, but like, that's crazy that I actually, like, these are stories that you hear from other people that heard from other people.
yeah,
But this is actually something that you saw. Then I'm just like, oh
yeah,
my gosh, that's
yeah.
crazy.
And this was all in like 9 months, all this stuff. And there was just more. Like I remember the guy that lived in the house. So we had a house and it was like, it was super old school. There was like how in those old boarding houses, they had like a governess,
Oh,
like women's
Jesus.
boarding houses, like one person who was basically took charge of everyone. Well, we had like the masculine version of that. It was mostly men
Okay.
living in the house. And this guy, I remember he was like missing a foot. And so he would like hobble around. Yeah, it's like,
Dios mío.
he was from Chile, and he all he had was a stump. He was the sweetest guy, but this guy was the most. He had been all over the world. He had traveled forever. He had lived in America for 25 years, all over Latin America. Spoke beautiful English, perfect Spanish, and had tons of stories. And um, he told us the story of like how he lost his foot. Evidently, he was like sailing, and then he was hanging off the side of the ship and another ship drifted and caught his foot.
Oh my God.
And like that's ended up, and they could have saved it or whatever, but something happened where it got like they caught it too late and the guy didn't have a foot, but he was just the coolest dude in the world. And he always took care of people. He was always there to fix situations and fix problems for people. He was always there to give people wisdom. He was like a surrogate father to me. He would tell me,
Oh.
he turned me on to who's the there was an Argentinian comedian. I don't know if you know anything about like a lot of Latin American comedy and stuff.
Is he young?
Franchella,
Ah, no.
wait, I could turn you on to him later or whatever. But
Yeah, send him over.
yeah. But it was just like a really cool experience. Yeah, I think I'm gonna write a movie about it because this is
That's
just
so cool though, because like now you have all of these, anecdotes and all of these people that you met. And I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason and people come into our lives for a reason. And it's so funny whether they're here they're in our lives for a long time or for just a little bit. They're here to teach us something,
Mm.
and it's so beautiful that you have all of these stories.
Yeah, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. You know what it was? It was like it gave me a reprieve from New York. I
Mm,
love New York. I'll probably die on the A train. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I love
me
this
too.
place. But it's New York and it's crazy and it does this to you. It just does this.
Yeah,
I just came back from Virginia. I was auditioning for the American Shakespeare Center. And
that's amazing.
as we were driving, yeah, thank you. As we were driving into the city and I saw the skyscrapers in the distance, I could feel my body go. I could literally feel as I'm entering the tunnel into the
Yeah,
city.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a bittersweet thing with New York. I love New York. If New York wasn't so cold, I'd probably live there.
Right.
I just can't do the weather. The winter is just for me. I remember there was that one day when everybody from my class decided to get together after we had already graduated, and it went down to 7 degrees.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Out of any other night, they choose this night for us to go outside.
Yeah.
And I remember just breathing that cold air, just like my lungs, just that's the day I decided that I wanted to move to LA. And it didn't happen until last year, but that was like in 2018, I think. Um, but
So you
oh
stayed here
God,
another six,
I stayed in New
if my math
York.
is correct. Yeah.
So no, I stayed in New York until 2019. In May, I booked a play with Vince in Montreal.
Okay.
So we moved to Montreal for half of 2019 and then came back to New York in January, I think. Spent the holidays in Miami. And then February, January, something like that, came back to New York, and then the pandemic hit.
Mm,
So I stayed in New York until 2021. End of 2021, I moved back to Miami.
okay.
And then I moved to LA May of last year, May 2024.
So to bring the audience up to speed, you mentioned Tom before. You and I both studied with Tom Todoroff. We both went
Hmm.
to conservatory. You were year two or one?
When?
One.
Ensemble one.
You were ensemble one. We were ensemble three. We were. I guess he. It was built after the model for Juilliard, so they
Yeah,
had like ensembles, and they only did 10. Right from what I
I think
think.
so. I think they only did 10. A 9 or 10, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Vince was your ex-husband, right? You
Yes.
guys met and
We
that's
met.
awesome.
We met in class. Like we met the first day of orientation. And I actually wasn't planning on moving to New York, honestly. I was going to film school in Miami. Even though I mean, acting has always been my passion. My parents were like, you need to get a degree. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, fine. I guess I'll do it in film because FIU wasn't taking any of my credits for my first 2 years in college. So I was like, I'm not going to throw that away. I paid for these credits with my own money. It was my time. So I decided to go into film production. And so I wasn't planning on going to New York. And because I had met Tom in Miami and I was one of the producers for the workshop, he had told me, he was like, you should come, you should do this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. And school started September 17th. I moved to New York September 15th, September 14th.
And when did
I
he ask you to join the conservatory?
Oh, he had told me like when he had first mentioned that he was gonna start the conservatory.
So to give us some background, talk to about a little bit who Tom Todoroff is and sort of how you came to meet him.
So Tom Todoroff is an acting coach. He was a director, producer, and the reason why I met him was because my agent in Miami back in like 2011 was like, hey, listen, there's this acting coach, director, producer who's coming from New York, and he's going to be teaching his weekend intensive here in Miami. He does that, he does that intensive in LA. He has a studio in New York. He teaches in New Orleans. He teaches in I don't know, a bunch of other places. And I was like, oh, sure, I'll join. And so the producers of the workshop paired me up with this other guy. There's like, when you think model from Miami, that was the definition of my scene partner. I freaking love. His name is George. They paired us up, and so we did a scene together, and I was like, I really like this Tom guy. I really liked how he taught his class, and he was like, make sure that you guys are taking notes. So he started coming to Miami more often, every 4 months. And so I was like, I want to keep taking this class because I know it's helping me a lot with like my
Mm.
acting and just with life in general because all the books that he had, like he told us that we absolutely had to read in order to join the class, were great. So
What
so
was it
then
about? What was it specifically? If you can, like, what was helping you about it?
um I think just being more connected to the character. Like I feel like I just approached, I mean, I was just right out of college. I was approaching it more like, okay, I'm going to learn these lines and I'm just going to deliver these lines. He would always tell us, be a text detective. And
Mm.
it wasn't until he told me that I was like, it kind of like clicked, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So, yeah, there was definitely a lot of things that I learned from him. And then I think in 2011 or beginning of 2012, that's when he was like, we're gonna start our own conservatory. You can audition if you want. We're auditioning people from Canada. Oh, because he also used to go to Canada to teach his intensives. We're auditioning people from Canada, from the UK, from everywhere in the States. And I was like, oh, I just started film school. I don't think so. And and then I was like, I mean, I guess I'll do my scene for class that I was gonna do. I became one of the producers for his workshop. Uh, I was like, I guess that could be my audition, maybe. So I like a little like something in me was like, maybe if you like tell him that you want to go to New York, maybe like that'll push you to actually move and go to New
Mm.
York and live the life that you always wanted. But I think another part of me was a little scared, and until he told me, he was like, you gotta make sure that you live life today, not tomorrow. And I was like, oh my gosh, don't tell me these things. I don't know what to do. And
Yeah.
so I finally made the decision and I told my parents I'm dropping out of film school. They weren't happy, but they were very supportive. I'm dropping out of film school and I'm going to New York. And so I moved to New York with nothing. My dad helped me sell my car. So I had about $2,000 in my pocket. Um, and I was living with my uncle, who at the time lived in Westchester. So it was like an hour away from Grand Central Station.
Hmm.
So I lived with him for 2 weeks, and I told Tom, I was like, I'm coming, and I just figured it out. I started looking for jobs. So I moved on Friday. I moved to New York on a Friday. No, sorry, on a Saturday. That Saturday, my uncle went to pick me up at the airport, um, at LaGuardia. He gave me kind of like a tour of like where the classes were going to be and
Mm.
where I was going to have to go and what subways I was going to have to take and the train and all that stuff. Orientation with school was Sunday, and then we started classes on Monday. And so I met Vince, I met everyone from class that Sunday, and it was so lovely. I have really wonderful memories from the conservatory.
I mean, that must have been a pretty intense culture shock.
Yeah. I feel like I didn't have time.
Right.
I didn't even have time to miss my parents. Like I thought when I decided I was gonna move, I was like, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep every night. I'm gonna miss my parents because I'm very close to my parents, to
Yeah.
my family, to my sister. And I was like to my dog at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep. I had nothing. because it was always just go, 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 school, look for a job, look for another job, school, homework, monologues, 20 monologues, scenes, movement, Alexander technique, masks, clowns, clowns. It was just like, it was so much. I never really had time to miss anyone or miss I didn't miss Miami. I just missed my family, but I didn't really have time to process, oh my God, I'm here alone. I mean, yes, my uncle is here, but my parents, my sister, you know?
How did that shape you?
Oh man, I feel like it definitely made me a lot stronger.
In what way?
I I'm a I consider myself to be a nice person. Um,
Well, you're
thank
very
you.
nice.
Thank you so much. But I think in a way maybe before moving to New York, I still am a very yes and person, right? I'm a
Hmm.
very yes and let's do this. But before moving to New York, I and even when I was living in New York and even now I'm still working on it, but that the move to New York really made me realize you can't sacrifice yourself for other people.
Mm.
And I feel like I used to do that a lot in Miami. Like, yeah, sure. It's okay if I don't sleep. I'll help you with this. It's okay. Like even if I was helping a friend with something and I never do things to get things in return. You know what I mean? But if I have someone, I can like if I ask you for help, I appreciate that help. You know what I mean? But so I feel like in Miami, I wasn't getting that with people.
Mm.
And so I learned to say no. I'm putting up I have boundaries now. And I remember too, like when I saw my sister again for the first time after moving, she's like, "Wow, you even sound different." I was like, I don't know what it is. I think it's just all the walking. Like, I feel like the walking makes you just like drop in more and just
Yeah.
be more grounded. You know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And it's like your voice just like drops in a lot more and you're just like really speaking from like down here. So,
You're
yeah,
also being assaulted by all these noises and all
I
this
know.
stuff.
And then literally I did get mugged. So,
Oh
like,
God, really?
yeah. So, that also taught me something that I can fight back. You know
What
what I mean?
happened?
Like,
You got to share that story. I didn't know you got
um,
mugged.
yeah, it was my first year. It was 2012. So it was December of 2012, December 13th, I think, or 12. No, one of those. I don't know. I don't remember the exact date, but
Yeah.
um, I got together with my cousin. One of her best friends lives in New York, and she was like, "Oh, you should get together with her. She has a group of friends. They're all from Mexico, and in Mexico, we do what we call posadas right around Christmas time. So it's just like parties, like Christmas parties. And there was like we were doing like Secret Santa and blah blah blah. So at the time, Vince and I were already going out, and I had told him he was like, "Oh, after that Christmas party, you can just come over." So he was living in Harlem, literally right across the hall from where we lived, a year later. And so I left. I don't remember where this girl was living at the time, but anyways, I got off the subway 125th, not 127th, 125th, started walking. I had my phone and I was listening to music and I had my purse and my little dress. I was like, oh my gosh, just walking in New York streets at night, like 1 in the morning. So,
No.
all of a sudden I see that maybe like 3 blocks away from where Vince was living, I see this guy he's on his bike and he had like his lights were flashing. So as soon as he sees me, he was coming the opposite way. So I was walking that way, he's coming this way, and as soon as he sees me, he turns around on his bike. I'm like, okay, well, he's wearing like a like a tracksuit, but he looked like he was security guard, maybe. He was wearing ski
Mm.
goggles. He was wearing a beanie. So I was like, oh, okay. And the lights on his bike, I was like, oh, it's like a security guard. At the time, I wasn't living in Harlem. So to me, I was like, okay, maybe they have like, you know, I don't know, people uh on the street just like making sure that there isn't anything going on. So he starts following me, and right there my gut was like, "Oh girl, this is weird." Anyways, I keep walking. I'm like, should I text Vince? Should I tell him like, "Hey, someone." I was like, "No, why nobody's following you, girl? Like, relax." And then I start hearing like shh, 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 so I turn around and he's off his bike. But because he's wearing that tracksuit, it makes that sound. So I was just like, "Oh, that's just even more weird now that he's like literally staring at me and like walking behind me." So I was so close to messaging Vince, like, hey, can you come down? I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Why? No. So finally, I get to the building. I ring the doorbell, and there's like, I go up the stoop, and there's like a little hallway between the door from the outside and the door from like inside. And so as soon as Vince buzzes me in, I feel my head just going back. So he grabs me by the hair and just pulls my hair back. And I thought I was really proud of myself because um, I thought really fast. I was like, if I go into the street and start screaming, nobody is gonna come out and help me. Nobody's gonna hear me. So I fell forward. So I fall forward. I open the door, slam the door, and then the second door as well. And he falls on top of me, and I start screaming. My gut was telling me that something was wrong the moment he started following me because I automatically unlocked my pepper spray in my pocket. But
Mm.
I decided not to follow my gut. So when I fell on the floor, my pepper spray went flying,
Oh God.
my purse went flying. I had my phone with me, but I started screaming and I started like kicking him. I tried to turn around to like confront him and like hit him. But he was punching me. Like he punched me like three
Oh.
times. And I started screaming just like, help, help. Nobody came out.
Oh my God.
Nobody came out. But I could hear Vince like coming down saying, I'm coming. And he started banging on people's doors. He didn't know what was going on downstairs. He just knew that I needed help. And he was like, call 911. Like he just like running down the stairs, banging on people's doors. And I think the guy heard that someone was coming down. I mean, I looked up and there was someone on the floor, like on the phone looking down at me. Like they didn't want to leave. They didn't want to like come down and help, but they were calling nine. Maybe I hope they
Jesus
were calling.
Christ.
But I'm like, I mean, you see a girl, and the guy was big. He was tall. He was big, and like I don't know, but that's something about New York. I know people don't like to get involved, but my gosh, that was an awakening for me because I was like, Jesus. So the guy gets up. I see that he has my phone, and I'm like, oh no. And at the time, it was an iPhone, but it's the phone where you it had like the little circle. I usually keep an
The
iPhone
circle with the
here.
square in it? Is that what
Yeah,
you mean?
for
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. The
yeah.
old school
I
one.
usually
Yeah,
keep an
okay.
iPhone here for my auditions, but I don't know where it is. Anyways, he pressed it by mistake, and I saw that I had a message from my mom saying, "Are you at Vince's yet?" And I thought, "Oh my God, if I don't answer my mother, she is going to freaking fly to New York and see where I am." Because like she was like I always, made sure that I told her, "Hey, I just got here. Hey, I just got home. Hey, I just got to Vince's. I just got to school." And I was like, I'm going to be in so much trouble if I don't answer my mom. So I was like, I don't know where I got the strength from. I was like, give me my phone, you fuck. I cursed. And and I try to pull him forward. I try to pull him towards me by grabbing his uh ski goggles,
Yeah.
but I miscalculated because he was much taller. So I kind of my fingers went into his mouth.
Oh man.
I know, but then I just like punched him in the face. Half of it was his goggles, but and in that moment, that's when Vince came down, grabbed my pepper spray, was like, "Why would you do this?" Like he started cursing him out. pepper sprays the guy, but the guy was wearing ski goggles, so like it didn't even matter, right? He
Right.
did kind of like breathe. We all did actually in that small little hallway. We're breathing that air. So I get my phone back. I just go against the wall. I'm like, what the heck just happened? And he tries to leave, and I'm pretty sure like Vince broke his arm
Oh.
or his wrist because as he was leaving, because he brought his bike up the stoop. Like this guy, I was like, how does that? So he brought his bike up and he was trying to get his bike out of the way outside, and Vince just like slammed the door on his wrist and he screamed. And I mean the bike was busted. He got away. Then we went to the cops and I was like, I'm fine, I'm fine. Vince was like, next time someone tries to steal your phone, you just give them to them. You just give it to them. I was like, no, sorry, no, because my mom was texting me. Okay, I'd be in so
Oh
much
my
trouble. It's like, no, thank you. Um, but we didn't
Jesus.
realize. I didn't realize until later that he had a little blade.
Oh
Um,
wow.
is that he just left it on the floor. We went to the cops and it was, they sat me down. They were like, we want you to tell me the whole story. And of course, I'm an actor, so I'm like reenacting everything. And I'm like, and then I went to grab him, and then my fingers went in his mouth. And the moment I did that, the cop was like, "Have you washed your hands?" I was like, "Oh my God, no. Can I go to the bathroom?" And he's like, "Yes, please." So I went to the bathroom. I washed my hands. I was like, oh my gosh, I really have to pee. So I pee, and then I was wearing pantyhose, and then I realized that I had a cut in my leg. So I like walk to his office with my pantyhose on my knees. I'm like, look, he cut me. And he's like, do you remember what he cut you with? Was it the blade? I'm like, I don't know, but the blade was like all rusty and stuff. And he's like, do you need to go to the hospital? I was like, oh God, do I want to go to I was like, no, I'll be fine. And I was fine. It was, but yeah, it was that was my not even a year into living in New York, and that happened. But that showed me, first of all, that you shouldn't have your phone out at night.
Yeah, no.
And also to really just follow my gut. After that, Vince got me a book called The Gift of Fear. It's a great book.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of it.
Oh
It's on the
man,
list. It's on the list.
it's a great book. And I read it, and it says, I think we're the only animals that don't follow their gut. We know
Wow.
there's something wrong, but we just don't follow that. And so that made me first, it made me realize that I can fight back. But also that I need to just like listen to my body, listen to my gut. Hey, listen, even if nothing happens, it's
Mm.
just better to be safe than sorry. Yeah.
Wow, man. I had
Yeah.
no idea. I didn't even
Yeah.
hear about that. That's wild.
Yeah.
I think that's to your point in the beginning where you said nothing happens for a reason. Like you were tested in that moment. Obviously, that was a horrible situation.
Yeah.
But you found out something about yourself, and I think like adversity is where we find out who we really are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like you were terribly traumatized. Like, were you kind of freaked out after that, or you kind of just like, all right, well, that happened. I guess I got to keep it moving.
Well, I mean, that's what New York does to you. No
Yeah.
matter what happens, you just gotta
Yeah.
keep going. The
Yeah. Yeah.
train's
Yeah.
still coming. You might still miss the subway.
Right.
You might still miss the train. It did affect me for a couple of months. There were times where I was sleeping and I would feel like a hand up my neck, up
Oh,
my
wow.
head. And I did have two, three, like one here, another one here, and another one here, big bumps that night when I showered. And I felt it. I was like, oh Jesus, that hurts. But, and then there were times where I would walk around, the neighborhood, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's him. Oh my gosh, that's him. And it never was him until
Mm.
one day that I was walking with Vince, and I was like, that's him. And he was like, yep, I think that's him. But what are you gonna do? It's like so many months had already passed, and
So the cops never prosecuted.
They never found him. No. At least not for what he did to me,
Jesus Christ.
which was really just, I guess, I mean, he didn't really steal anything, but I mean, it was
Yeah, but
assault,
he
but
he
yeah.
assaulted
Yeah,
you.
right. Still.
No, no, you matter more than the stuff he stole. Like he
Right.
assaulted you, punched you
Right,
in
right,
the
right.
face. Like,
It was still assault, yeah, for sure. Yes.
it's like, no, he punched me in the face. Like he didn't. He attacked me at night. He didn't steal anything though. So it's.
He didn't steal anything. They could have prosecuted him for assault, but I don't, he never, they never, I don't think, it was straight out of a movie. When we walked into the police station, there weren't that many cops there because it was like 2 in the morning. But
Right.
there was one with his feet up on the table, a box of donuts, literally like right next to him. The
Sounds like
other
a
guy by the
movie.
computer. Yeah. So I'm like, "Oh, okay. So there's a reason why we always see this because it actually happens." I was like, I don't think they're gonna find him. I don't even, they're probably focused on other things. I don't know.
um, that's got to be the Cuban in you. It's like, man, like the hard. I love it.
Whatever.
I love it. I love it. So walk me through like when you were a kid, when you were a little girl, were actors always have these different stories and stuff. Some were like doing plays in their living room, and some didn't even know they wanted to do this, or they were too afraid to say to their parents that they wanted to do it. When you were a kid, did you always have an inkling that you wanted to be an actress?
I did. Yeah. And I always told my mom, always. I think it really started when basically we were watching a show, my mom, my sister, my brother, and I, and there was a girl, I think I was 4 maybe. There was a girl who was my age, and I told my mom, I think it was Life Goes On, but in Spanish, obviously, we used to watch it in Spanish. La vida
Mm-hmm.
sigue su curso. There was a little girl in it, I think, and I told my mom, I'm like, I want to do what she's doing. And I think she took it literal. Like she was like literally what she's doing. I don't know. I think she was like drinking milk or something. And my mom was like, okay. And and I was like, no, no, like whatever she's doing on TV, like that's what I want to do. And my mom was like, ah, okay, yeah, okay. I think my mom felt like it was kind of one of those like, when someone's like, oh, I want to be a fireman, I want to be
Mm-hmm.
an astronaut kind
Yeah.
of thing. And then my sister, who's 6 years older than me, did a play in school. And my mom had to have this like beautiful dress made for her. And when I saw my sister doing her play, my sister must have been like 10. It was one of those like school plays that they put up, like at the end of the year, because, they want that I don't know about here because I didn't grow up here in the States, but in Mexico, the schools that we went to, they were always very involved with the arts. So
Mm-hmm.
you had to do plays or some sort of presentation where you kind of showed what you learned throughout the year, but as a play.
All the kids did, or
So they
just
would
the artistic kids?
all the kids.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody. Now, if you liked performing, then the teacher would be like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm going to give you the bigger role because you like being on stage and
Mm.
things like that." But all the kids had to do it in a lot of schools. I don't know if it's like that still or if it was just the schools that we went to. But so I told
I,
my
a side note of that is I always look at Mexican culture and I was like, there's a show happening. Like I was like, everyone's in a show. All the telenovelas are
Oh my God.
Mexican. Of the in Latin America, like and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand is they all go to Mexico to train and then they go back to wherever they come from, so whatever. So
Yeah.
anyway, keep
Yeah,
going. But
they'll
like
go
it
to
makes sense to me.
Televisa and they'll go to El Sea Televisa to train and
Yeah.
because I feel like Mexican novelas, or at least that's how it was before, are it's like the pinnacle. Yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
main, novelas. Like if you want to make it in novelas, you gotta go to Mexico. It's
And
like you
there's
gotta
always a
have
ranch, and
oh
there's
oh my
always
God.
a cowboy hat
Yeah.
and a
And there's always
horse.
like super hot guys, super hot girls. There's always the one who takes care of the ranch, the lady that is actually like really, really beautiful, but they just like make her look like she's just like, not. that pretty at all.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
when you see pictures of her, when you see, oh my gosh, everybody's beautiful in
Right,
those
right, right.
novellas. Yeah. So, what
So
was
your
I
sister
saying?
was 10, your
Oh,
sister was
oh
10. So
yeah,
you were 4, real quick. So you were 4 years old when you were
I was
like,
4.
I want to
Yeah,
do that. That's crazy for you to be 4 years old and like
yeah,
to
yeah,
have
yeah.
that kind of insight.
Yeah, and I told my mom, I was like, what can we do? Is there anything we can do? Let's
Yeah,
do some business here. And
yeah.
my mom was like, I don't know. My mom was always very supportive. God bless her heart. So she started taking me to like auditions, and I never booked anything. Always no, 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 no. Open calls where we had to be there for 2, 3 hours. No,
Mm,
no. And then finally, when I was 6, I booked my first commercial. And I told my mom, I was like, I want more. Like, I want this and I want more. And it was always like, I want more, I want more. Like, and then she found this acting school for kids. I auditioned, I got in. Because of that, I was able to, be part of a novela when I was little. And when I graduated from that school, I was like, I want more, I want more. So she found this dubbing voiceover school in Mexico that I went to, and I graduated from that. I was like, I want more, I want more. Like, what else can I do? And then and then we moved to Miami, and I started doing dubbing there and voiceovers, and continued with school and then in college, that's when I was like, okay, I think I'm going to find myself an agent. And
mm.
that's kind of how it went for me. Did a couple of commercials here and there, got my agent. In Miami, I mean, if you were an actor, you either did Burn Notice or The Glades back
Right,
then.
right.
So I did, or both. I did Burn Notice, and I met Tom. And so then, then I moved to New York and was in New York, loved New York, was in New York for almost 10 years. And now LA.
So you had had some success in Florida.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I think, I mean, most of the commercials that I've booked in the last, actually, I would say 99% of the commercials that I've booked in the last 3 years are in Miami. Like I've booked a lot, thank God, in Miami, the last couple of years.
Yeah, I saw you the other day. You were on my feed and I was on YouTube and I was like, I think I'm gonna go to Home Depot now.
That Home Depot. Oh,
Yeah.
that was so fun. That shit was so fun. We actually did 2 spots. And I don't know how it like I don't know because both spots we did them both in English and Spanish.
Mm,
But that shoot was so fun. That shoot I did with this production company. The director was incredible. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is amazing, young guy. And I recently auditioned for when I was in Mexico, guys. I spent 3 months in Mexico because of non-acting related work.
mm.
And but I was still auditioning, and I got a call back, and I got a call back. So I'm doing the callback on Zoom. I mean, you know how these Zoom callbacks go, especially if you're doing it on your phone. It's like little tiny squares that you don't see who's talking to you,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, Paulina, we worked together before," and I'm like trying to find this square, and he's like, I'm Chris. We worked on Home Depot before." I was like, "Oh my gosh, Chris, yes." Who was also part of the team that did Home Depot, and I was like, "This is awesome." They're actually based out of Utah, and
Okay.
I booked that commercial, so I went to Utah 2 months ago to shoot that commercial. But yeah, it's great. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of commercial work in Miami.
So were you getting a decent amount of work when you were in New York?
No,
Okay.
no,
Why
when
do
I
you
was in
think
New
that was?
York, I don't know. I think mainly it was maybe I don't want to say that I my manager was great. I had a
Hmm.
great manager. I just don't think she we didn't work well together, I
Okay.
think. I think there were many times where she would just tell me things that I was, I don't want to. things that I was like, I'm like, I don't, do you want me to change what I look like? Do you want me to break my nose? Do you want, like, do you want me to dye my hair? Like, what
Mm.
will it take for me? No, because you're to this, you're to that, you're to this, and,
Was
I
she
was
giving
like,
you critiques about? So, what kind of critiques was she giving you? You don't have to use her name. I mean,
well, she wasn't like, she would also help us tape our auditions and
okay.
they were great. Like I always had a lot of fun and she was like, "Yeah, this looks amazing. Sending it over." But and she would also like write me emails about this and it's not true and I know it's not true and I've talked to other people about it and I always try to like how do I say this without sounding without sounding arrogant and full of myself because I'm not. But like she always like she would tell me, "You're too pretty. You're just too pretty. You're too pretty." And that's why I was like, "Well." So when I got an agent, and she was like, "How is it working with her?" I was like, I'm not. Yeah, I have gotten some stuff. I got some work. I did a commercial. I did this other thing that was like videos to teach people Spanish.
Mhm.
And she was like, "That's not true." She's like, "It's not true that you're too pretty." She goes, "Not no offense." I was like, "No, none taken. I just want to know why she's saying those things, you know?"
Mhm.
But then again, she also Vince, my ex, was also with her, and she would tell him like, "You're too Italian. You should change your last name." And I'm like, what? Like he looks, I mean, yes, he looks Italian. Can you imagine he comes in saying, "My name is Ben Smith." I'm like, that's it, it makes no sense. But when we booked that play in Montreal, because we moved to Montreal, our manager was like, "Well, I think maybe we should stop working together because you guys are moving. I don't think this is working out." And I was like, "You're so right. This isn't working out. It's not. I think it's for the best that we just, go our separate ways." And she's lovely, and it worked for a lot of other people that booked a lot of work, but
Mm.
just for me, it didn't. And then with my agent that I got in New York, well, she was in New Jersey, but I booked. I got her. I think I started working with her in maybe 2018, 2019, early 2019. And then the pandemic hit. And then I booked a commercial during the pandemic, which was so interesting it was so interesting working during the pandemic, like everybody had to wear masks, but we were supposed to be eating. So, so we
So many
actually
stupid things.
we had to shoot the commercial two ways. The first one just normal, and the second time that we shot it, we all shot it with our masks on. Yeah, it's crazy. Because like
Why?
nobody knew. Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody knew what was gonna happen. So they were like, "Well, if we show this commercial, we might want to show that people wear masks here, blah blah blah." I was like, "Sure." I mean, sure. But
Right.
yeah, but I no, no, in New York I did a lot of the auditioning, uh server life, actor type of life.
Oh yeah, I know
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah. That was just being a server and auditioning a lot. And I mean, we did our own projects and stuff, but yeah, I did get really good auditions from time to time, but never booked them.
And how do the markets differ? Right, you've acted in Montreal, New York, Miami, and LA. What was the experience working in those four separate markets?
It's so interesting because when I moved back to Miami and I wanted to get an agent, I showed her my headshots that I had just taken like 6 months before moving. And she was like, "You're gonna need new headshots. These are too New York." And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't know what she meant until I actually took my new headshots in Miami. Everything is just more, just bright in Miami, the palm trees and the colors and the outside. And,
Mm.
in New York, it's like you're in the studio.
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So
Everyone
it's
wears
like,
black or gray.
yeah, exactly. And it's very like the I don't know, there's just something about now I know the difference between New York headshots and Miami headshots. And now I see my LA headshots and I'm like, oh, these are so LA.
Yeah.
Like if I take these to New York, they're gonna be like, no, girl, like these are too LA. And my agent in Miami too, and I was like, I got new headshots. They're in LA. I didn't tell her I took them in LA. But she's like, these are too LA for us. So I'm just gonna
Wow.
pick and choose from the ones that you sent me, but not the ones that you initially sent me. And I was like, okay, whatever. I just don't want to spend more money.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to have to like take new headshots because every time it's the same thing. These last headshots that I took, I was so happy with how they came out, but I think in Miami it's just like you show a lot of skin. It's always hot and humid and just
Mm.
like people are a lot more warm. New York is a bit more summer. It's a bit more like dark.
Emo.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to say that, but and LA, it's more like I can do this and I can do that. And let me
Yeah.
do 8 more looks and let me do this and
Yeah.
Montreal, I don't know Montreal much because I was just there for the play. I didn't really audition for anything else, but Montreal is freaking cold, man. Like if New York was cold,
Yeah.
for me, I can't. I don't know how people do it in Montreal. I mean, I guess they're used to it. Maybe not. I don't know. But winters in Montreal, not even winters, but like May. May was also cold. Well, for me, because I'm always just cold.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I think Miami is definitely a lot warmer when it comes to those things. Like, and there is a lot of commercial work. So commercial is a lot of like the smile and this knowing how to sell the product. I don't. I think maybe I auditioned for one show that is shooting or that was shooting there this year, and I didn't book it. But they're casting for co-stars
Mm.
because all the other actors I think are from either LA or New York. But yeah, and LA is interesting because I moved here May of 2024. I lived here 2 weeks. So May, 2 weeks in May, went to Mexico for 2 months to shoot a movie, went to Miami for a week to spend time with my family, came back to LA for 2 weeks, booked a SAG commercial actually with my dad in Miami,
Really?
went back to Miami, and I just kept booking commercials. So I never came back to LA until February of this year. I came back for 3 days because my I got a manager. I have a manager here who is wonderful. I love him so much. He was like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And he was like, "They're offering you this role." I didn't know what it was. I was like, "Yeah, I need to go back to LA. Sure, I'll do it." I didn't read a script. I nothing. I had no idea what it was. I just said yes. See, that's my still learning. So I come to LA. I am like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to rent a car because it's in Santa Ana and it's like an hour away from where I live.
Mm.
So I rented a car. They send me the script, they sent me my character, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no lines. What is this? Turns out it's a vertical. I don't know if you've heard of these
Yeah,
before.
TikTok is doing it's like 1 minute mini films, right?
Right. So I was like, okay, what is a vertical? I had no idea. I start hearing. I didn't read the whole script. When we were rehearsing, I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" Everyone's laughing because, and I had actually just found out that I booked a vertical in Atlanta that I was going to in 4 days, and I'm like, Oh my God. And I remember doing the audition. My sister helped me with very dramatic, but I didn't know it was for for a vertical. But anyways, I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, this is new for me. It's a new thing. So I do that, go to Atlanta to shoot the vertical. Very dramatic. But I met incredible people on set. The director, I love her so much. And she still does, she still does some of these verticals here in LA. And sometimes she'll be like, oh my gosh, are you available? Would you be? I'm like, with you, I'll do anything
Yeah.
because she is so wonderful. And so yeah, that's a thing that actors are now, I mean, you can get paid really good money
Really, what kind
on
of money
these
are people
verticals.
making on the vertical?
So you can get paid either between, it depends on your role, but 400, 450 to 500 a day. But if you're like top, like one of these like really famous people that are on those platforms like Real Short, I know there's a bunch of other platforms. They make about 1,000, $1,200 a day.
Wow.
And they shoot for 10, 15 days max. And then they take a break for like a couple of days and they go on to another one. But I've heard that a lot of these like people are on a contract. They have to sign a contract with the app and they can't do any other apps, any other platforms.
Mm.
But yeah, you can make good money. So it's good if you want to be on set. It's a professional set. It's a professional production company. And you get to meet wonderful people. The scripts are, a little dramatic. But and I feel like, it's one of those things that for me, I've been there, I've done it. If the director that I met needs me to do one of them again, I will do it with her. But it's funny because I was doing one with her and she's like, I keep pitching you, but they just keep saying that you look too Italian. I'm like, I'm not even freaking Italian. What do you mean? She's like, I know, aren't you like Hispanic? I'm like, yeah, I'm Mexican. Like, what? But yeah, it's so that's what I've done. I've done, and well, I did two shorts. I just finished one this past weekend, which was lovely. It was a musical drama,
Hmm.
and I shot another one.
I didn't know you sang. You sing?
I do. I can hold a tune. I wouldn't
Okay.
say that I'm a singer, but I can hold a tune, I really enjoy singing, so but yeah, it's been great.
That's awesome. I mean, to be able to work in all those markets, I think is really, sometimes you kind of hit your stride in one place and you're like, all right, well, I'm getting work here. Let me just stick here. But it sounds like
Yeah.
you're having success in different mediums, commercials, short films, these sort of
Yeah.
verticals. Um, and that's awesome.
I mean, honestly, I'll just go wherever there's work. Which is why too, like when I got that movie in Mexico, I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. Of course I'm going to Mexico. What? So, I mean, that's why I spent 2 months in Mexico last year. So we were shooting, Monday through Saturday, and then Sundays I had the day off, so I would just like go do stuff with my family, and it was wonderful. It was so, so lovely.
Do your parents come out with you when you go to those long shoots and stuff? Or you mean
No.
cousins and people that are?
Well, my brother, because my brother lives in Mexico. My brother with
Oh, okay.
his wife, yeah. My brother, his wife, and my niece and my nephew, they live in Mexico City. My oldest sister lives in Mérida. So whenever I go to Mérida, I stay with her. But yeah, my brother lives. So when I was in Mexico City, I was staying with my brother. And even now, when I get like, oh, this shoots in Mexico City, I'm like, oh, by the way, I can be local hire if you need me to be. I always say yes. I'm like, oh, I can always be local hire. I mean, unless it's not really worth, you know, the however much money I'm going to be spending on a hotel. But
Mm.
if it's worth it, obviously if I'm going to get paid more, then I always say I can be local hire.
When we were in conservatory, right, in the 3 different years, I know, I mean, I coach Shakespeare and stuff, and I marvel at how many things that were told to us I'm saying to other people. Like it's coming out of my, I was like, someone said this is coming out of my mouth right now. This is wild. Um, and one of the things that I enjoyed about conservatory was the voice and speech and the classical training, like the very sort of intensive, and we were exposed to a lot of different things. What was most, what stuck out to you most in terms of training that you've been through, and what has served you the best in the work that you're doing now?
Um, I think clown work really, really helped me,
Why?
and masks. I think because you forget just forget
Mm,
about everything and you just go in, you dive in, forget about, oh, I'm Paulina. I I'm shy about like showing my boob or whatever. I'm not saying that I usually do that when I act. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
oh, I don't want to I wear like a really I don't like wearing really short skirts. I don't want to, you know, I forget about all that. And masks as well, because it just like I remember I'll never forget. I remember putting on Kathleen had all of these masks just on a table and she
So
was like
Kathleen is our mask, was our mask
yeah,
teacher. So,
masks and clown teacher. As soon as you she said as soon as you put it on you are that person. And oh my gosh, I get chills. I remember putting that mask on and it was a mask I chose the mask. It was like this like really old, really really old person, and I put it on and automatically, not because I mean, I think it was subconsciously, just I just kind of like started hunching over, just like, and my arms just like went. I kind of just like gave into this new person.
mm.
It was like wild. Um, and Alexander technique. Alexander technique really, even for my everyday life, you know, I had bad habits of I did gymnastics when I was little. Not like, oh my gosh, I was a gymnast, but I took a lot of classes and I would always kind of be like I felt like my back was straight, but there was always like a curve. And Belinda, who is our Alexander technique teacher, was always like, find your center, find your
Mm.
center. And that helped me so much with like, it's not like I was having lower back pain, but it was not comfortable. You know what I mean?
Right.
So even now, when I'm acting, I'm like, before they call action, when I'm like getting into it, I'm like, find your center. You know, you go in, you go through that uh moment where it's just like find it and now you're in. Um, but yeah, I just feel like so many of those classes were so beneficial for me. Movement too with Janice, just because you just let go.
Mm.
You don't care. A lot of the times, like when I'm talking to people about movement class, I'm like, yeah, it was just a bunch of us rolling on the floor, like loving each other and saying, I'm red velvet, you know, I'm red
Right.
velvet and acting like red velvet. A lot of people don't get that. They're like, what? I'm like, it's wonderful. You should try it. It's like rolling on the floor, just like taking off my sweater because it's starting to get super hot. You know, it's
Yeah.
just it really it helped me be more free.
I got into a fight with our movement teacher, Miss Janice. We were doing what is called viewpoints for the people that don't know. It's more it's more than this, but for the sake of the argument, it's basically you're walking to spots to dots on the floor. you're just you're walking you're walking the dots on the floor, and I just remember us being in class, and I turned around. It's like, why are we doing this? I have no idea. I don't know what you want from me. Like there was no objective. I went insane. I just got so frustrated because there was no thing to it. And then she got mad at me, and then I got mad at her. And then people like, "What's going on?" And I was just out of my mind. And then I think what it was I was having a hard time letting go, and just
Oh,
doing the exercise. And there were so many exercises like that. So much of drama school, I feel, is just getting out of your own way. The
yeah.
whole I'm red velvet doesn't make any sense. But if you just give into the exercise and allow yourself to be red velvet, it just starts to make you just start doing it. And then you just
Yeah.
live in it and you discover things and things start to, images start to come to you. It's
You
wild.
start crying,
You start
you
crying.
start
It's crazy. It's
you start
wild.
laughing. It's like,
Right.
yeah, I'm a waterfall. And then
Yeah.
you fall like a waterfall. When you're on the floor, all of a sudden you're like, I'm a waterfall. And you're like, but it's that letting go of
Yeah.
everything that's like keeping you in
Tight.
this box. Yeah.
It was yeah, I think drama school is one of those places when you're in a good place and they really know what they're doing. You just get so many things get released in you, right? Because
Yeah.
we wear these masks.
Yeah.
Uh, there are parts of us that either get cut off or they get sort of put in little boxes in the deepest recesses of our psyche. And maybe they're there for 30 years. And like you got drama school just sort of pulls it out of you
Yeah.
because you just have to. And I love that you said mask because that was one of my favorite classes too. Because the mask is just like you put it on and you just forget and you're not using your face, you're using someone else's face, some other face, and so you can embody these different things. I think you knew Donish, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so Donish was someone in my class. And there, you ever heard of the fable of the lion and the mouse?
I think so.
So there's this fable of a lion. A lion is in a cave, and the lion has this sort of like just he has this like this big. It's not a stick. It's a sharp. It's something sharp. It's like a sharp wooden like splinter embedded in its paw, and it's like in tons of pain. And this is the king of the jungle, and he can't stand it anymore. It's been embedded there forever, and along comes this little mouse, and the lion's roaring and clawing at the mouse and whatever, and the mouse is kind of a little bit scared, but it just kind of just is curious about what's going on with the lion. Eventually, the mouse starts to make his way to the lion, and he pulls out the splinter from the lion's paw. Now, the mouse ordinarily is the lion's prey, but because the little mouse pulled out the giant lion's paw, it becomes his friend. And so I think that the fable is really about sometimes the greatest heroes are in the smallest packages, right? And the
Mm.
things that we least expect. But we had to play that out. So I played the lion and I was like, I was clawing at him and roaring at him and kicking him, and having him. But he was chasing me around like the little mouse around the room. And then eventually he pulled it out and I pounced on him and I started like licking his face or whatever. We became best friends. It was wild, but it was like we were so in it. We didn't even we weren't ourselves. We were just this lion and this mouse.
Oh,
And
that's beautiful.
I just remember how incredible like that sort of animal work is because animals are so present. They're
Yeah.
just like you said, just like the gift of fear. It's like we're the only animal that will not listen, heed that gut.
Yeah.
And so it's like the best work I think is that guttural sort of just connected to the self because the body is so smart. The body
Yeah.
really knows what's going on.
Yeah. 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 Animal work is amazing.
Uh,
Yeah. That's so cool though that you and Donish did that.
yeah, and it changed. There's a lot of silly things that we do in drama school and just like that fight or whatever. But now, like, if you really think about it as it pertains to the work itself, it's like so relevant.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's relevant because it's not intellectually, it doesn't make logical sense, but it makes emotional and imaginative sense.
Yeah.
Um, that's fantastic. So, you do you ever produce your own work?
Um, I haven't done it in a while. There was one time where Vince, my ex, you remember Guy. Guy
Yeah,
is
Guy
one of
was
my
someone.
best
Yeah,
friends. Yeah. Um, he's like my brother. Uh,
he was in your
um,
class too, right? Or was he
he
in the
was
one after?
ensemble too,
Oh,
actually.
right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And and yeah, we would kind of like just get together and we had like this thing called 4A1D. It's four actors, one dream. Yeah. And and we produced this movie that Vince actually wrote. It
Mm,
was it was like a thriller. It was a
mm,
short. And we shot it and all, but when we decided we hired someone to be the DP, and when I started looking, when I started watching the footage, it wasn't great.
mm.
So it was kind of like off focus or whatever. I've been thinking about it lately, and I'm like, maybe I should revisit that. I don't know if I have the footage, but this was a long time ago. But I think that was the only time when I produced something with them. I also I did with Kathleen and Luisa. Do you remember Luisa? She was in
Hmm.
Gee's class. We produced Dolores, a play by Edward Allan Baker,
Okay.
at the Tank, and that was cool. We did a couple of shows. I think we did 6 shows total, 4 or 6. I don't remember, but he came to see it. The playwright came to see it, and but yeah. Other than that, I haven't really produced. No.
How did that experience change for you? I know when I produced a couple things, things began to shift in terms of my relationship with just acting in general as an actor who had never done it before. How did the way you view or approach the work change when you started producing things?
Oh God, I don't. It's so weird because like I always felt like I wanted to kind of not like if I was acting, that's all I'm doing right now. Like I don't want to
Mm,
have to focus on something else. But I always made sure that like when we did the play, I was like, I feel like I can't focus on my acting if I don't have these things already set up, for the play, for the set, for the furniture, the what we're doing with because we it was a our budget like was very, very, very small, very, very low budget for the play. We got a bunch of milk crates and built a set with milk crates
mm,
and kind of used them as bookshelves, as a kitchen, as it was. I mean, Kathleen came up with it and we were like, that is brilliant. And we ended up really loving it. But I kept thinking, like, I can't focus on my acting so I always made sure that we had things like everything was good on the producing side so that I can now turn around and be like, okay, I'm good. What are we doing now? Let's talk about the characters and let's talk about, this journey that these two women go on. It's a great play. It's a short play, but it's a incredible play.
mm-hmm.
But
Go ahead.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like I always wanted to have that kind of like separation between. I haven't really done it much, but when
Mm-hmm.
I did do it, I wanted to have that separation of like, do this first, then I can focus on what I really, really love.
What is your, if you could design a career for you and something you could do forever, what would that look like?
I would love to be able to do film or TV
Mm-hmm.
um, in the morning, afternoon, and then do theater at night. That would be my ideal.
You'd have to move to New
The
York to do
I know,
that. Or London.
I know, I know, because theater for me is I love theater.
What do you love
I
about
love it
theater?
so much. I just love how it makes me feel. I love acting in general,
Mm,
but we know that, when you're on set, you can you can be in it. All right, cut. All right, cut. That's fine. Cut. You let it go. All right, we're gonna go again. You gotta get it back, right? You gotta get it
mm.
back. So you get it back, holding for lights, and it's there, and it's like you gotta hold it until it starts, until they say action. Just keep holding it. All right, wait, we're holding for sound. Okay, and I'm like, okay, just keep it there, just keep it there. Just okay, action, and then you release it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like with theater, I just let go because there's no take two.
Mm,
And it's thrilling for me. It's like this is it. I'm gonna give it my best because people are paying to see this, right? So I'm gonna give it my best. I'm gonna discover new things. And I'm not saying that you can't do that on film, but film, there's definitely a lot of waiting around
yeah.
that sometimes can cut that inspiration for me, at least.
Um, what kind of projects do you love to be in?
Oh my gosh, I loved that play we did in Montreal was
What was the
so
play about?
lovely. It was about an Italian family,
Mm-hmm.
and they own a landscaping company, and so the main guy wants to, kind of like give it to his two sons, but one is the guy that is more like he's a rougher on the edges.
Mm,
He does the dirty work, and the other son does the paperwork. He went to school. He's educated, and it's just like the dynamic between the brothers and then the cousin that's getting married, the moms, my mom who, we lost my dad and my mom is still wearing black. I'm getting married. I have that conversation with her like, wear something else, let's get you another dress. Don't wear black anymore. Daddy's not here.
yeah.
It's like I think about it and it makes me want to cry because it was so beautifully written. His name is Vittorio Rossi, and you know, just projects like that can shift. Tom used to say all the time, we want to move the molecules in the room, shift the
Mm,
molecules in the room.
right.
And after the play, I would get people come up to me, girls, women. I had that same talk with my mom, like in tears, and I'm like, "Oh my
Wow.
God, come here, let me cry with you." And thank you for doing that. I saw myself, and oh God, it's just so, I don't know. It's sometimes I just feel like you can't really explain that feeling of like it's so fulfilling.
Mm,
But stories like that, the story that the short film that I just shot is about an ICE agent who reconnects with his ex who is here illegally. So it's like stories like that really just like juicy, meaty stories that I'm like, oh, I love that.
I love that. That's wild. Is an ICE agent who reconnects with his. Are you playing the girl who's the one who's here illegally? Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Especially with
hard.
everything going on now.
Yeah.
That's why I was like when I first did the audition, I was like they just wanted a song and a dance. I'm like, and I even asked my manager, I'm like, they just want pictures and a song and a dance? And he's like, yeah, I think so. And then when I got the call back, they sent me the scene and I did the scene with the director. And I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm okay." I'm like, "Well, thank you for writing this regardless of what happens whether I book it or not." I didn't say that to him, but I was like, "Thank you for writing this story because I think it's so important to tell these stories."
Mhm.
And then when I read the whole script, I was like, "Oh, okay. This is." And like the last day was very emotional. That was one of those days where I was like, okay, I'm in it, I'm in it. Okay, holding.
Yeah.
Um, and then and then I didn't know that the director had called action. I was like in it crying so much, and all of a sudden I opened my eyes and things are happening, and I was like, obviously I go with it, but I loved that. I loved that I I he surprised me. And then when he cut, I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that you had called action. And he's like, no, I did it. It's fine. It looked great. I was like, okay.
What are some things that you struggle with as an actress?
Uh, I think just wanting to do everything. Like I just want to book everything. I just want to work, you
Right.
know? Um, and wanting to, thinking like, dang, I thought that audition was great. Why
Mm,
didn't I get called? Like, why didn't they call? Why didn't I didn't even get a call back. Um, but I often just, because I have been doing it for a long time, and I think it's helped me because there was a lot of no's, like the no, no. When I was little, no. Well, you didn't get it. No, no. There was a lot of that going on. I kind of just do it and move on.
mm,
So sometimes when I'm like, I get an email, you have a callback. I'm like, a callback for what again? Which one?
right.
Because I'm like, I I often just, but I think it's mostly I I want to make sure that, especially like I want to book everything, but there are
Mm,
certain projects that I'm like, this one, this one, this one. So I struggle with the fact that I need to tell myself you're not gonna book everything. And like I see it obviously, but I'm working on it, and it's I did struggle a lot a couple of years ago when I wasn't booking at all. And I like, I follow my agency on Instagram, and I just kept seeing like the stories. Oh, this person's booked.
ooh,
You've been booked. You've
yeah.
been booked. And I'm like, and I'm not. And I remember, because Guy and I talk a lot, and I remember telling him, I'm seriously considering like muting their stories because it's affecting me.
Mm-hmm.
and and then just reminding myself that everybody has a different journey.
Mm,
Just because this person's booking a lot right now doesn't mean that I'm not going to book in the future. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to do something else. I was lucky enough to do that movie in Mexico, cut my hair, just completely chopped it off. We cut like 10 inches. It was so long before. And ever since then, I have been able to book over and over again. So I'm like, was it my hair? If I had known, I would have freaking cut my hair 3 years ago. But yeah, I struggled a lot with that. Now I'm like, everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own story, and we're all writing it differently. Some people are using just black ink. I use different colors. Sometimes I run out of pink and I have to use purple, or sometimes I have to stop writing for a little bit, but then I continue to write it in
mm.
a different color. So just reminding myself that it's okay not to book.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly convinced that social media is of the devil. Like it's just I mean, I'm not gonna say that. Look, it's a tool. People use it, they get booked off it, they make money off of it. I've made money
Yeah.
off of it. I just had a TikTok commercial. Like, I'm not gonna
Nice.
poo-poo. Yeah, they paid me
Congrats.
money, they paid my rent a couple times. Like I'm thank you, social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
Thank you, BBR. Please send me more. But when we're looking at it's just, especially if you're at a point where your friends are really doing big things like that and you're not, or you don't feel like you are, that really just grates on you. And it sounds like it was happening to you. And it robs us of our own joy. It robs us of our own journey. It literally uproots us because we're in our own track and our own story. And when we're like, it literally pulls us away from what we're doing. And it actually, we could have like gold right underneath our feet, and we're not even seeing it because we're not paying attention because we're looking
Yeah.
at so and so doing the thing. And then I've had things in my life because I wasn't tending to them fall apart. Where if I had just been tending to them instead of looking at this other thing, they would have been great. And so I learned that lesson a long time ago. And I'm not perfect. It still happens because
Yeah.
if you got a friend that wins Tonys and you got another
Yeah.
friend that's a series regular, like, you're like, where's my thing or whatever. Dolly from my class, is in her second season as a series regular on a CW show. She's
Oh my gosh,
second
that's
season.
amazing.
Amazing. And it was incredible. Like, it was so cool. I was like, oh my God, this is cool. This is cool. Cause I literally saw it. I don't know where I saw it. Maybe it was YouTube or on the whatever. And I saw she's got these big, beautiful blue eyes, big, beautiful blue eyes. And I was like, is that Dolly? And then I started looking, I was like, oh my God, she was the series regular on the thing. And she was the face of the thing. And she had like no credits or barely any credits when
Wow.
she booked it. And it was like a year-long process, casting process. I love those stories.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah. Like I hadn't spoken to her in, it had to have been like 5 years, a long time.
Wow.
And then she's on doing this thing, and then she's on the second season of it, and I'm like so proud of her. I'm so happy for her,
Oh,
and it was so cool because I'm like, oh, it's real. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It really does happen. When I saw you online,
Yeah.
I was like, ah, when I saw it, but it's like you forget and you realize that, like, oh, it does happen. So for anybody that's out there, it's like, oh, it's never going to happen for them, whatever. Like literally, you just keep doing it, and one day, all of a sudden, you're the industry,
Yes, you
and you're
just
like,
can't give up.
you just
Yeah.
can't ever, ever, ever. And it's highs and lows, peaks and valleys through the whole thing, and that's just the nature of the business. It's always been that way. It will always be that way. If you think about the ancient Greeks, they were going on tour and not making money and being destitute, and so it's great. I'm just so happy for you that you keep booking, you
Thank you.
keep killing it, and you know that you're so pretty that they can't even cast you. I think
No,
that's
no, it's a lie. I was
she's
told
too
it's a lie.
attractive. We can't have her. She's gonna make everybody else look ugly, man. We can't have her on the movie.
No, no. I'll break my nose, something.
No, don't do that. Don't touch your face at all. So what's next for you before we wrap up here?
Oh God, what's next? I'm excited for the movie to come out. The movie that I shot in Mexico. I think it should be coming out sometime next year, maybe February, I was told.
Is it all
Uh,
Spanish, bilingual? What's
it's all
the
in Spanish. Yeah, it's all in Spanish.
what's it
But
called?
it's called Perro que ladra no muerde.
Nice.
So I actually don't even know how to like when people ask me, okay, what does that mean? I'm like, it's like a translation. Basically, like translating it literally, dog that barks, a dog that barks doesn't bite.
It sounds like akin to like
But it
his bark is worse than his bite.
right, exactly. That's
Yeah.
basically what it is.
Yeah.
So it's a family comedy. I'm excited for that to come out.
Nice.
Yeah, I have
All Mexican?
all
I'm
Mexican,
gonna
yeah.
watch it.
Shot
I'm
in
gonna watch
Mexico.
it.
Everybody was
Are there any no
Mexican.
mames? Are there any no mames in the
No, it's PG, so
Ah.
there's none of that. There's no bad words, so unfortunately. There were a lot of no mames off screen though. Like,
Right.
it was freaking cold. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We were so I watched the movie and there are some shots where my lips are blue.
Oh wow.
My mom was like, "Were you cold?" I'm like, yeah. Can you tell?" And she's like, "Yeah, your lips are blue." I'm like, "Oh Jesus." Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited for that. I can't wait. I can't wait for it to come out. It's a really sweet, funny, uh uh cute movie, like
Yeah.
family movie. So,
Nice. Well,
yeah.
we will look out for it. You said it's going to come out potentially in February.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what I was told.
Awesome. Well, Paulina, this has been a pleasure. It's great
Thank
to
you.
chat with you. It's been a few
Yeah.
years, and you're
I
just as awesome as
know.
ever.
No, you are. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. All right, guys. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.